The Last Showgirl is a 2024 American drama film directed by Gia Coppola. You don't know who Gia Coppola is. She is a member of the Coppola family.
Clearly.
The last Coppola did Megalopolis. Blah. She is she is the granddaughter of Francis Ford Coppola. She made her directorial debut with Palo Alto in 2013. She since directed Mainstream in 2020 and now The Last Showgirl in 2024. It stars Pamela Anderson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Billy Lord, Dave Bautista, yes, that Dave Bautista, Brenda Song, and Kiernan Shipka. Plot focuses on a middle-aged Las Vegas showgirl who is faced with an uncertain future after learning that the revue she has performed for 3 decades is scheduled to close. The screenplay was adapted by Gersten from her own play, Body of Work, which she based on her visits to the Jubilee show shortly before its closure in 2016. I'm going to do this now. It won the San Sebastian International Film Festival. It won Pam Anderson won the Zurich Film Festival. It won the Newport Beach Film Festival, the SCAD Savannah Film Festival, the Miami Film Festival. It's kind of skipping down here. It was nominated but did not win a Gotham Award. It won a whole bunch of other film awards here. Nominated for a whole bunch of winning. Okay, yeah. There's a pending Critics' Choice Award, and a pending Screen Actors Guild Award. Okay. It was nominated for Best Original Song and Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama at the Golden Globe. So, as I was telling Robert, it's more than likely Pam Anderson's going to get nominated for Best Actress. I don't think she'll win, but she's going to get nominated for The Last Showgirl. This is not most likely going to be nominated for Best Picture. In short, The Last Showgirl is, as I said before, is about a elder
Showgirl
dancer in a review. The review is shutting down, and this is sort of the last days of this review. This particular character gave up raising her daughter so that she could be in this show. The daughter is now college age and is coming to visit her mother. There's a lot of just sort of seeing what this show is and how it's performed and kind of what the girls go through in order to put it on. There's the tacit recognition that this is all that the Pam Anderson character gave her life to, and it's going away, and she's scrambling to find something to replace it with. And she runs afoul of the fact that she is an older woman and not quite what a lot of shows are looking for, and she kind of has nothing else. Not to mention the fact that the daughter makes a judgment on, like, this is what you gave up being a parent for, to dance topless at in a Las Vegas show. Why would you do this? There's
Fair question.
a reveal. There's a reveal that Bautista is actually her father, which she does not know, and they actually do not ever connect in the movie. Jamie Lee Curtis plays one of Pam Anderson's friends, and there's a whole thing where she's a cocktail waitress, and she has a gambling problem and a drinking problem, and at some point she ends up on Pam Anderson's couch going, "I've lost everything and I need help." It ends with, the very last performance, and you get to see Pam Anderson do her thing on stage. But along the way, there's a lot of conversations about, like, I understand that not everyone accepts this choice that I've made. I understand that people think I should have made different choices and that I risked a lot to do all of this, but I love this show. I loved performing in this show. I see the value in it, and for me, it was worth the sacrifices. Which doesn't do her a whole lot of good in, these golden years of her life where she's sort of looking into the abyss and seeing there's nothing out there for her. It's the best summation of the movie I can give without giving a plot detailed recitation, which I don't really want to do. It's on Wikipedia, read it. Or here, better yet, go see the movie. Pam Anderson is fucking great in this thing. This is like the role she was born to play, because I think, if you think about Pam Anderson as an actress, it was very much like, come on, lady, you're here for the boobs, you're here for the pretty face, you're here for the blonde hair. And once those things, once we didn't want those things anymore, we didn't want her either. It's a hell of a thing to tell somebody. You know, your value is in your looks, your value is in your body shape. You have no other value besides that. You as a person have to live with that. Live with that message that society is beaming at you with bright lights, and what that does to a person. And then then you turn that around and you're like, well, you as an actress, you as a performer, like, what do you want those people to do? Do you want them to not want to? Do you not want people to want to be performers? Do you not want them to want to act, to want to sing, to want to dance? It's funny, we want people to give us entertainment, and then we shame them and we punish them for having done so, and then we throw them away. And we tend to, I've been saying this a lot lately, both professionally and personally, the tendency to objectify people. They are here to satiate our need. They are here to give us what we want, and when we don't want it anymore and we don't need it, we throw them away as if they're not people. The net effect of what that does to somebody's psychology, I think, is interesting, to say the least. Pretty horrifying, as a matter of fact. And a lot of that comes out in Pam Anderson's performance. There's a couple of really great scenes that she has. It's really funny. There's at one point she goes to dinner with Batista, and he actually says to her at some point, he was like, well, did you ever think about not being in the show? Maybe there was a different way to do this. He was like, and she's like, oh, what the fuck? Now you're gonna judge me for doing this? The guy who has not only run this show for as many years as he has, but is going to continue running another show with this very same casino. Like, none of this is affecting you. You got to not be a dad, and you get to keep your job. Meanwhile, my life is falling apart, and you sit there and you have to judge me. It's a really great scene. And
you might
go ahead.
Consider taking advice from someone whose life has not been as perilous as yours, but hey, that's just me.
I mean, look, I think if you had seen the movie and you kind of came away with a different perspective, there's grist for the mill for debate. No doubt about that. I am giving you my take on it. I'm not saying there are no other ways to look at this and no other perspectives. Jamie Lee Curtis, if I could just talk about some of the craft elements. Jamie Lee Curtis's performance in this, like, is a reminder that she's one of the best actresses of our age. Like, the woman has such good chops.
Which is kind of funny, considering she reminded us of that like 2 years ago with her supporting role in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Well, it's funny because she was just in Borderlands, and it's like it's funny what a bad movie can do to somebody.
Boy, isn't it?
Sometimes you can take a great actress, give them shit material, and that shit material does bring them down. Like, there's nothing they can do with this, and you think in isolation they're like a bad actress because of it. Then there's a movie like The Last Showgirl, where Jamie Lee Curtis reminds you she's stellar. She's so good in this. She brings so much to the role. Maybe you feel sorry for her, maybe you don't. I can't speak to everyone's individual perspective, but I found myself. I'm sympathetic to the point they're trying to make through Pam Anderson's character. I'm not as sympathetic to Pam Anderson's character. I was sympathetic to Jamie Lee Curtis's. Like, I genuinely felt bad for her. It's shot interestingly enough. It's kind of a grainy filter on it. You kind of feel like, again, like this is an old film, and it's 20. Shot
trying to get the 70s vibe across in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I would say, say something bad about this film, Mark, or none of us will be able to sleep tonight if you and Robert don't shit on something. All right. There's not really a story here. It's the last days of.
You said that's another trend that kind of emerged, I think, like out of some people's minds post-pandemic, is just, well, why do I need a story? Let me just give you a window into this thing.
Yeah, that's kind of it. It's like we peeled back the curtain on what happens to an old sex symbol, and then we run out of minutes, and we shut the curtain, and you go home. I think I said, I don't remember which show it was, where I kind of did the thing with the cup. It was something that had to be, Alexis had to be on it because she's the one that made the joke about, like, your cup's disappearing. But I think I said something to the effect of, like, I want to show you this cup. Okay, well, are you saying anything about the cup? Not really. I just wanted to show it to you. I want you to know that it exists. That's kind of The Last Showgirl. And so I think
Honora
people,
too, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, definitely Honora. I think there's I think there's a value in kind of showing you this world, because I think for most of us it's an alien world, and film is really really good about bringing us to alien places. Um, but I think that's, I don't know. I was doing a lot of in my head comparisons to from the Last Showgirl to The Substance, because it deals with a lot of the same stuff. Aging, society's view of beauty, demand of beauty, and then discard of what it feels is no longer beautiful. Um, it's funny. I was thinking a lot about how we create different entertainment experiences because there's a market for it, and society gives no fucks about what that does to the people in it, and whether or not they'll survive the experience. um, I think taking a position on it is an interesting one, and one worthy of viewing. I don't know if it's going to have a lasting impact on people. I don't even know if Giacoppola's wish with this room is to change the vast hearts and minds of those who want disposable culture. Um, I think people will watch The Last Showgirl and go, "Oh, isn't that sad?" and then will go on about their lives. Um, I think
Kind of like
I
The
think
Wrestler.
yeah, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, but The Last Showgirl and The Wrestler had a lot in common. It's
I
very very
did not
similar.
bring that up by accident.
Yeah, it's very similar in tone and its bleakness. I think the only difference is Mickey Rourke's character in The Wrestler was sort of a grumbling, subdued kind of, internally agonizing person. As opposed to Pam Anderson, who's sort of throwing a tantrum about,
Mm.
I gave you, kind of, it's kind of like a Judy Garland, at the end of Judy kind of a thing. Like, you'll remember me, won't you? Like, shaking people, strangling them. Like, you'll remember me, won't you? I gave you everything you wanted. I gave up so much for you. I threw myself into this and destroyed my brain in the process. You'll remember me, right? No, we won't, unfortunately.
Probably not, because certain things are not worthy of your time and effort to that degree, and putting the wrong thing first in your life is going to lead you nowhere good. This has been proven time and time again, and
So, would I recommend The Last Showgirl? Yeah, I mean, if you've got a theater near you and an hour and a half to kill, I support independent movies. I think this is 90 minutes of your time, and I think reward the movie for its short runtime. you know,
we're going to be talking about The
maybe.
Brutalist in the near future, and I think Mark and I will
uh,
both be pining for this kind of brevity.
I consulted the parents guide to that. I actually can't show that to my kids. It's got stuff in it I don't want them to see. So I will be attempting to see
You should
all
look,
nine
man. If
hours
you
of The
could get,
Brutalist by myself.
you couldn't get your kids or any kids these days, and mind you, to sit still for 3.5, almost 4 hours. I don't know that I'm gonna
Yeah.
want to sit still for 4 hours and watch that thing.
Like, just by the end of it, you're like, all right. So that's The
You ain't
Last
kidding.
Girl. If you don't have any other comments on it, I'm gonna leave it be.
I'm happy to leave it there because I would need more specifics to have formulated a more coherent opinion on it. So
Okay. I think that's the last thing I'll say about it. It's got an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Uh, a wistful showcase for Pamela Anderson in a refreshingly dramatic role. the last show. The Last Showgirl pays homage to the working class of Las Vegas with its superb collection of performances. Um, Falcon positively compared the film's themes to those of The Substance, opining that both films observe the prices women pay for their beauty and career. Local punching bag for Damn You Hollywood, Stephanie Zastrick named Anderson's performance as one of 10 best of 2024, which I would agree with, writing that her Take Me As I Am face intensifies both the vulnerability and the defiance she brings to the role. Writing out of the film's world premiere, RogerEbert.com's Mariah E. Gates praised Anderson for her nuanced performance. Sheila O'Malley also compared Anderson to Judy Holliday, further writing, And so comeback isn't the right word at all for Anderson's performance. One of the best of the year. Her performance is an inadvertent indictment of an industry who pumped her up while simultaneously devaluing her, barely considering her an actress at all. Nobody could play Shelley the way Anderson plays it, citing Pamela Anderson's turn as Shelley as one of the 10 best performances of the year. In the Boston Globe's Odie Henderson writes, Anderson gives the kind of lived-in performance that proves the actor knew her character inside and out. Yeah, like I said, this is like the character she was fucking born to play. All
Easy
right,
to just play yourself on screen.
it's a little more than that, but okay.
I'm being a little bit blithe about that. I'm aware, but
and dismissive, but whatever. All right, speaking of
I mean, again, I can joke about that, but it's also not easy to be yourself on screen. So,
I mean, it takes a lot to be that vulnerable. People spend an enormous amount of their psychological energy, not being that vulnerable. Out of fear, out of anxiety, out of a need to project an air of security and toughness that isn't really there. So for her to go and do the Last Showgirl and be like, this is me. This is me with a different name and a different set of circumstances. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's brave of Pamela Anderson. For an actress that people don't take seriously and mock, to be vulnerable on a stage like this, I would say she deserves credit, not to be mocked. But that's me.
I don't disagree with you. It's more, how do I phrase this? It's more a type of performance that I think gets a little bit overblown. This is the role that so and so was born to play. Like, yeah, it's kind of just their life. Like, I'm not saying what they're doing is not difficult, and I'm not saying it deserves to be mocked. I'm saying, I'm a little bit more impressed by people who can reach than by people who can go that far inward. So
yeah, I'll go ahead and agree with that. I think when you can create a character and a performance, it goes a little bit further than you just kind of doing the Stone Cold Steve Austin of this is my personality on 10.
Yeah.